So today we're in conversation with Prashant, who is owner of a clothing brand called Stilo Clothing. He's also a stylist and a drag queen. So Prashant, let's dive into this and get right onto the basics.
Yes.
So how would you explain the term drag queen to a 5-year-old? Super simple.
Oh my gosh. To a 5-year-old, I would say that drag is a performing art where um, men dress up in a character to basically entertain an audience on the stage.
I love that.
And we all sort of develop our own character. We could be either impersonators or have our own version of ourselves. So
Mm.
I could be either, say, Rekha or Madhuri Dixit, or I could be a very hyper feminine Bahar, like my character. Hyper feminine Bahar is a character of her own. She talks a certain way, dances a certain way, lip syncs or sings a certain way. So you can create your own character, or you can be an impersonator, or you can do both, or you can be an alien, anything. So drag is all about just, putting yourself into a character.
Nice.
I like that.
So why do you do drag? What is the pull for you personally?
I so my drag is not like exactly a drag. It's somewhere in the middle of a cross dressing and a drag. I'm sorry, my dog.
That's okay.
Stella.
That's okay.
So for me, it all started because I wanted to look like a woman, and I wanted to feel very feminine. So it started off like that before I became a drag queen. So initially, I was just cross dressing, like wearing simple women's clothing, and then as I started to get more and more comfortable with myself, like headgear started to become bigger, my clothes started to become more louder, and my makeup started to become more bold, and my wig started to become bigger. So everything started to exaggerate after I just found
Mm,
this hidden confidence that I did not know I had. Like if drag isn't like the RuPaul, everybody knows him.
yeah.
So it's like drag doesn't hide who you are; it reveals who you are.
Mm,
So I found that if I were a girl, my drag character would be me.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
So when did you know that you wanted to get into drag? Then what was that moment that you had a switch in your mental state and you were like, hey, this is something I should be doing? Like help us imagine that state of mind for you.
It was 2 years back when I was just doing this for fun and because I liked it. And it was only when I started to um, make videos and put on Instagram, and I saw people's reaction to my videos.
Mm,
Then I realized that, oh, like people really like it, regardless of
mm,
they being straight or gay, women or men.
Mm.
They really like it. So I should do this more. So I initially started doing more on Instagram, and then because a lot of people saw me on Instagram, they told me to start performing on
yeah.
stage. So that's when I thought, okay, let me just give it a try. And then my fellow drag queen friend, she told me that, let's just do it already. I've been asking you to do it for so long. It's high time you just do it. So I did
Rip
it.
the band-aid.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So, how did you mentally switch between, Prashant, who is, owns a clothing brand, to Bahar, who is your
It's
drag
all
queen
in the makeup and
persona?
wig and the dress. The moment like people have seen the switch very clearly who work with me.
Mm,
Like as Prashant, I'm much more timid and I'm not very I'm a little bit introvert and probably not so loud. In a sense, I'm not very confident, one might say. But the moment I put my headgear or my wig and makeup and dress on, everything just changes immediately. It just there's and the way I talk changes, the way I sit changes, the way I interact with people changes, and this is a very clear difference that other people who know me have seen and who work with
Mm,
me. Like this,
mm,
the way my voice changes, like it becomes more feminine. I become very much like a lady,
mm.
sitting, the way I cross my legs, and the way I would talk to a man. Everything changes.
Nice. Oh, oh, sorry, you're back.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so everything changes. So
Nice.
I don't know what it is, but then I feel much more comfortable in my drag than I like this.
I think this goes back to what you just said, that it lets you be who you are versus
Yeah,
pretending to be
yeah,
something else, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is a question I'm sure many people have when it comes to drag queens and drag kings. Does being a drag queen in your case, does it overlap with sexual orientation?
Overlap what?
Overlap with sexual orientation? Does it matter what your sexual orientation is?
Um, I'm. Can you? I mean, I'm not able to understand. Is if you're asking me this, so if my being a drag queen overlaps with my sexuality,
That's
is
right.
that what you're asking?
That's
Sorry,
right.
my
Yeah.
I'm guessing my
No, that's
sometimes my
okay.
English is so bad.
Could have, it's me. It could be me too.
No, no.
Yeah.
No, it has, the thing is, for me, inside of me, I identify as a woman. So when I'm in drag, I actually become me. So there is no overlap in there. It's like when I'm Prashant,
Hmm.
people refer to me as he. When I'm in drag, people refer to me as she. And I have very clear, because I have this clear switch, I'm very comfortable with both sides of me. Just that I like the
Hmm.
drag side of me better. So, I
Yeah.
have my best friends from college who still refer to me as bro and dude when
Hmm.
I'm like this.
Hmm.
And then I have friends who call me she even when I'm like this.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
I
I
like it.
have given people the freedom, the liberty to refer to me how they want.
Hmm.
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
But just to clarify then, and if you don't mind me diving a second time into this question, so is it that would you say you're straight or you're gay, or what are your sexual preferences then? And does that
I'm
matter
gay.
when you're okay? You are okay,
Huh.
and is it are most drag queens gay? Is that a generalization to make, or a drag queen could be straight or gay or both?
See,
I mean, could be fluid.
usually drag queens are all gay men.
Okay.
But drag is an art form which is open for
Yeah.
all. So
Exactly.
I have not really seen straight drag queens like in straight men, but a
Uh-huh.
lot of straight women want to try drag because it's so
Yeah.
extra. It's so uh, for them. A lot of women want to try because it's not something you get to try every day. You
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to try what it is like to be a drag queen. What is it like to wear all that makeup and big hair and outlandish costumes and
Hmm.
fabulous shoes? What is it like? Do a lot of women
Mm-hmm.
want to try it? Men, I'm not quite sure. Straight men, I've never come across anybody.
I mean, the straight men in India and the closets that they are locked in is like
Yeah,
innumerable. So,
yeah. Bisexual men, I
hmm.
have seen, but actually
Okay.
not. They'll be non-binary.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Got it.
Yeah,
That does
yeah,
okay. That adds up a little bit. I only
yeah.
ask because if you go back into history regarding drag queens, a lot of it comes from theater where men would dress up in female parts and play those
Yes,
parts. I mean, that's
yes,
my understanding, the origin of where drag queens come from.
yes, yes.
In fact, a lot of Indian dance forms have it. Kathak is very popular for it. Um, and therefore, I was trying to. So, why don't you answer this for me then? culturally, we accept women dressing in, the traditionally accepted men's clothing. So if you see a girl walking around in jeans or even a suit, it's perfectly acceptable. In fact, it's looked at as powerful, you know.
Mm.
Whereas it's very shocking, or it makes people pause and stare to see a man dressed in the stereotypical women's clothing. Not even the exaggeration of drag. I'm just talking about something that's looked at as feminine. Do you want to comment on that and how drag plays into that?
It is. It's got everything has got to do with the upbringing and the way our society has been molded into thinking that women, if women are not, if a man acts like a woman, it's not something good to look at. Like indirectly, they're trying to just put women down. Like if growing up, our parents would tell us, "Don't act like a girl, don't walk like a girl." Why? What's wrong with it? Right? So it's indirectly telling a small child that women are less than men. So
Yeah.
that's what we've been taught. Women are less than men, and if a woman wears men's clothing, it's a sign of power. It's a sign of
Mm,
self-expression. Because why? They think men are superior. Like everybody thinks that men are superior. It's okay for women to
Yeah.
do like that. For men to act like women is not something
mm,
which is appreciated even now. That is one side of how I see it, which
mm,
our parents have taught us, and their parents have taught them, and then it just goes on and on and on, and still it is continuing to be so in the modern world as well. It will
Yeah.
take some time
Yeah.
for us to like now world is changing, but I think it will take some time for us to realize that what we teach small children are not it's not correct
Yes.
to
true.
tell them that a
Very
small
true.
boy don't act like a girl, don't talk like a girl. Indirectly, you're telling your mother is less, your sister is less. All your aunts, all your cousins, all the female cousins, they're not good enough.
They're below you. Yeah.
They're below you. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
a lot with our upbringing.
Mm, I like that.
Hmm.
So, since you spoke about upbringing, so going into
Hmm.
your life a little bit, then, what
Hmm.
has this journey been like for you? Did drag come first, or realizing that you're gay come first, and the acceptance of it coming out to your, immediate circle of influence? What take us through all of that?
I came out very late because I am from Patna, Bihar, which
Yeah.
is not very forward. And plus, I
Mm,
come from a family which is middle class family. So, like, nobody was accepted. And I didn't tell
mm,
anybody. In 2016, I think I told my mom, not my mom, actually, to ask my best friend to tell my mom. But I had come out to just one friend when I was doing my graduation, and it was a moment of like life or death for me because she was the first person I was going to tell because I just thought like I need to tell this to somebody. So I told her, and and then she just looked at me and she's like, "Oh," and so I'm like, "Oh, you're not reacting." she's
Love.
like, She's like, I knew it. I mean, you're telling this to me now, but I knew it all along the way.
Mm.
mm,
And then that was like the turning point when when you tell some one person who's so accepting, and then
Yeah.
things started to just change after that. Then I came to Bangalore to study, and then I told like my very close group of friends, all females first, and then after that I started to tell my male friends. And then after that, once it was out of my chest, then it was no turning back.
Mm.
Yeah. And
I love that.
one, the best thing that had happened to me as a gay man was when I went to Europe to study further. And then when I was there, I realized that it is such a normal thing.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and meeting so many international people, and then they loving you regardless, and just being
Mm.
there for you, and it was a very empowering experience for me. So I give a lot of credit to Europe for molding me and giving me the
Mm.
confidence. Things just changed. The kind of people I met
Yeah.
there, and then I came back to India, and I wasn't the same person. I couldn't care less about anybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that. I had just a few
As it
follow-up
should be.
questions to that.
Mm.
One is, do you think your coming out would have been, severely impacted if that first friend of yours hadn't accepted you from the get-go? Much like a litmus test, the first test that you do, the first person that you told reacted so beautifully, it was that
Yeah.
much easier to then, go beyond and tell a few more people.
Yes, yes. If that was a negative
Yeah.
experience, everything would be different for me. But thankfully, the first person I told has been the most accepting person ever since 2008 was the time, like 12 years
Oh,
back, I told.
wow.
Wow.
Wow. I love that. And then drag happened how many years later?
2 years ago.
Oh, just 2 years
10 years
ago.
later.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
all right then.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's very
fresh new drag queen.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
2 years old.
Yeah.
I
so
think drag happened after we got the freedom in India after 377 was
yeah,
abolished.
Yeah.
yeah.
So after that, when I started to see more and more, cross dressers and transgenders and people like me get out there and do their thing, and
Hmm.
media being so supportive is when I started to put makeup, and then I started to go out. And then there was this point of time before the lockdown. I don't remember when was the last time I went out like a man. I always went out like a
Oh,
girl. Yeah.
That's empowering.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, do your parents know? Does your family know? And where do they stand if they
They
do
know I'm
know?
gay, but they don't know about my drag side.
Okay,
Mm.
all right.
Well, I don't
And how
know
did
how
they
they
take it
react.
when you came out to them?
I did not come out to my father. I think he knows it. My mother is very supportive. She wants me to
Mm-hmm.
find a man, and she wants me to have a baby through a surrogate. Like, but she wants her own child, her own blood.
Oh, wow.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Tell
Yeah,
us a little more about your relationship
yeah.
with your mom. How has that, if it has changed at all after
We
you
don't
came out?
speak about it.
Mm.
We don't speak about it. She indirectly speaks about it, but she gets the message across through my sister.
Okay.
Like if
Okay.
she, like before Section 377, she told my sister to ask me to leave the country and go so that I can live a normal life, find a man and stuff. And then after that, she's like, okay, now it's legal, so we can stay here. And then,
Oh,
she never talks about it that much. She's just fine with it.
right.
Okay.
But she finds
Yeah,
a
and then
way to
she,
talk to you through your sister, and that's quite
yeah,
sweet.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then she does not want me to be alone, so she worries about that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
my sister does. I mean, keeps telling her, "Don't worry."
Would it have made a difference to your relationship if she wasn't accepting and pushed you
I
away?
mean, if it wasn't like, yeah. The thing is, at this point of time, even if I was pushed away, I wouldn't care much
Hmm.
because I can't change the reality.
Yeah.
If you're going to disown me, fine, disown me. So what can I do
Hmm.
anyway?
That's
Thankfully that
true.
Mm,
didn't happen. But the thing
Thankfully.
is,
that's true.
yeah, because most of my relatives don't approve of me,
Hmm.
and then it's been like years I haven't spoken to them because I'm so like emotionally closed. Like
Hmm.
what they're thinking and I'm not thinking is just I'm so unbothered with all of it.
Nice.
So I
Okay.
don't speak to them. I don't speak to most of my uncles and aunts and cousins and cousins from my father's side mostly. My
Hmm.
mother's side, all my cousins are very accepting.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
guessing having a sister on your side is a big pillar of support as well.
yeah. My sister, my brother-in-law, they're so nice. Like, mm, my brother-in-law, I think. was more supportive in the beginning than my sister. Then then now everyone's fine.
Hmm.
So that was, yes, I'm quite blessed.
You are blessed for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit more about your drag persona. What
Yeah.
is the what was the intention behind choosing the name Bahar?
Um, I was very inspired. I like these old-fashioned names, and I was watching the movie Mughal Azam,
Oh, nice.
and
Mhm.
then that other girl, the side chick,
Yeah.
she was, her name was Bahar, and I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that name sounds so good. Okay,
Hmm.
and then I'm like, let me just keep my name as Bahar, which means spring in
Yeah.
Hindi.
Hindi.
Mm.
So I was like, yeah, let me just keep something very Mughal Indian,
Hmm.
instead of going very Western. I wanted to keep myself a very. I'm not Indian drag queen, but I wanted that name.
Yeah. It sounds more dreamy and magical. So
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
exactly.
does.
Something very
Yeah.
not regular.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear your name, when I read it, I always think of the song, the
Uh,
"Tum aa gaye to bahar aa gaye," and like it
oh
just
yeah, yeah,
immediately
yeah,
plays in
yeah.
my head.
A lot of people do that. Aata hai
Yeah.
Bahar aaye.
Yes. It's the first
Yeah,
thing that plays in my head every time I say it and every time I read it, and I'm like, "Tum aa gaye."
yeah. So a lot of people don't understand. So a lot of people think it's Bahar,
Hmm.
like outside.
Oh, okay. That actually could also work though.
Yeah. Now
Bahar.
I'm out.
Out of the closet.
A lot of people, yeah, a lot of people who don't know Hindi, they think it's
Huh.
Bahar.
Uh-huh.
It's
Especially in the
Yeah.
south,
Bahar.
that must be the case, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's
like they
pretty
don't
normal.
they miss the double A. They just use
Ha.
just single A.
Ha. 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 That's true.
Uh,
So tell
so
us more about the. Sorry, were you saying something?
no, no, no.
Okay. Tell us more about the first day you left your house in your drag persona, Bahar. First of all,
Oh
what were
my
your
God.
thoughts at
I
that? What were your
do
thoughts when you were
remember.
leaving?
No, I was very happy because I was
Hmm.
going to Kitisu, which is
Yeah,
like the hub. Okay,
a nightclub. Yeah.
and it was so magical because I wasn't even like a proper drag queen, and my makeup wasn't that great. My hair was just shifting from here there,
Hmm.
but it was such a magical night because I did. There was this very handsome lawyer man who
Mm.
came in who came and approached me, and he asked me to go for a drive with
Mm.
him, and which I did. It was very, very magical, and he was, and I did. It was quite funny because he was straight, but he was like, "You're so feminine." Throughout the drive, he was like, "Have you trained yourself to talk like that? Have you trained
Mm.
yourself to walk like that?" I said, "No, not really, but it just
Mm.
comes with the dress."
Right. It is who I am.
Yeah, it's like you're so
Mm.
feminine. I love that about you, but I'm not gay. I said that's all right.
Mm.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
So it was
Has
very
it happened
magical, very
then
magical.
in so has it happened then for you that have you seen a straight guy who you've been interested in and you wish that he was gay and into drag queens? Has it happened a lot? Like unrequited love?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, luckily, all this one-sided love has happened, and I'm friends with them, and they know it.
Okay.
Oh.
Like, so yeah. So the thing is now, for me, falling in love is a process of me
Mm.
falling
Mm-hmm.
in love during a course of time. It just doesn't
Mm.
happen because the guy looks nice. So most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, it happens with someone I already know and I hang out with. So
Mm.
twice it has happened, and I'm very happy I'm out of it because it's just like too much of stress and heartache for no reason at all. Because the guy obviously would never be interested in me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Mm.
but uh, a lot of straight guys they do show interest in my drag side. They like that personality. So I just
Mm,
think they like to be deluded and they like to look at me, look at Bahar
mm,
as a fantasy. And because Bahar, of course, is wild and, she's a very hyper feminine,
yeah.
just like extra in all sense of way. You know, the
Mm,
my corset's up tight. I'm showing a lot of legs, and
yeah.
everything is exaggerated. So I think
Yeah.
men just like that personality,
Mm,
and when they come to me, they kind of want to look at that delusion, that image all the time. So I've had
Mhm.
men asking me that they'd like to go out on date with me or come home, and you know, um, and then but then they want to just be with Bahar. So I said, listen, there's this point of time when Bahar is gonna go. I can't I can't be like wearing a wig and makeup and a dress 24/7.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, please. But so when you
Oh
know
my
what you're
God.
putting yourself into, so please look at my Instagram before you come. Okay?
Yeah.
Because come on, what am I, a doll? And I mean that's what the thing.
Mm,
Mhm.
That you come here and you see all that and then you keep saying that, so a
mm.
lot of guys are like that. I've had so many my Instagram DMs are full of guys like that.
That is one of our questions, actually. We can actually
Yeah.
skip to that question. So,
uh,
your Instagram, you
uh,
you very usually call out all the guys who are DMing you inappropriately, right? So, yeah,
it's fun.
it's so fun for us as well.
Yeah.
So, and I'm assuming that it's a high number of straight men doing this, right?
Yeah.
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 So why do you think that there is a higher number of straight men doing it?
uh, that's a
Like, where does
very
it
good
come
question.
from?
It's it's such a difficult question to answer because I don't get it. Like, because you know if you ask me, no matter how drunk I get, I will never sleep with a woman unless
Yeah.
I'm like completely, like unconscious and somebody forces me, which I have no recollection of. Like, I will never do it. Even if I have 1% of conscience left,
Hmm.
I would never
Hmm.
do it. But it changes for straight men. I mean, I shouldn't complain because it works in my favor, but
True.
That's true.
but I'm just
Hmm.
telling you because it changes for them.
Hmm.
And what I realized that most of the time, like I've had these men who I spoke to and I've gone out on dates with. What they like is femininity.
Hmm.
So I don't know how to explain this. One guy told me, I asked him if he's bisexual. He's like, no, I'm not bisexual, but I just like you because you're so feminine. So I understood that this is the whole new spectrum of sexual liking, which is
Mm.
just liking femininity in whatever form it comes. So I
Right.
could be like a boy, extremely feminine, and they would get attracted to me. And I could
Hmm.
be, of course, a drag queen who's already feminine, so they get attracted to me. So that is a new thing that
Interesting.
I not recognize, sorry. That's a new thing that I figured out that these men like, just
Hmm.
being very feminine. So
It could actually be a reflection of how women are now moving back from being very overly feminine in the way they dress and how they portray themselves. Again, circling back to what you said, it's because
yeah,
women are told that if you have to assert your authority and power, you have to be
mm,
less feminine. So it could also be a reflection of how women are changing and expressing themselves, which is why there is
probably,
a
Mm.
pull
probably,
towards
yeah.
drag
And
queens.
also because the thing is, I don't know what it is, but most of the time, straight men think that we are hypersexual. Um,
Hmm.
So if you have to get wild, you have to catch one of us, like the
Oh,
transgenders or the cross dressers, and so that's why when straight up they'll ask very inappropriate questions, like
of course.
I cannot say that right now. so so it's like they look at us and they think we are like a porn book come to life,
Mm, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and they want to experience all that. So I just think
Mm.
that's one of the reasons why they also come to us.
Yeah, we have our media and our movies and shows to thank for that portrayal. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah,
Mm.
true. Yeah, like
yeah.
I just hate it when the conversation just starts with all of that, and I'm not. I know I look like that. I act like that on social media, like a wild and
Yes,
drag queen,
super
but
sassy and sexy.
yeah, like stealing everyone's man,
Yeah.
and I act like that for entertainment purposes, but in real life, I'm not like that. Even my drag
Mm.
persona off the stage is not like that.
Mm.
That's just for entertainment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is important to make that distinction because, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, a lot of the idea behind drag queen is doing it for an audience. The
yeah,
audience is a very important part of the whole experience, and it is a
yeah,
performance art. And please correct me if I'm
yeah.
wrong, if I'm using the wrong words, but that's what I understand of it.
It's a performing art. Yes, it's celebration of our freedom to be who we
Hmm.
are on stage and at the same time entertaining people. It's
Mm-hmm.
such a gift. It's such a gift that I feel it's a gift for me because I know a lot of people want to do it, but they can't do it because of various reasons, family pressure,
Mm.
Yeah,
from because they come from such city or state or a lot of problems. But I feel it's such a gift to be a drag queen and being able to be on the stage and do that. It's just I think I'm privileged,
I love
and I'm
that.
very
Yeah.
grateful for that. Hmm.
So to just dive into that a little bit, you did say that you'd been to Europe and you studied there, and that played a large role in you becoming so comfortable with this side of you. And to speak about that a little bit, do you think that if our society was a little different, or is it something that you have would hope for that drag could potentially be a career at some point of time? And I'm talking about India now. Since you've seen the world and seen the similar world in Europe and how different it is over there, do you see it being something that you can pursue more seriously as a career in India, or can you speak about that?
Um, See, India is definitely changing now because of all the social media awareness, and more people are now supportive of the LGBTQI community and just supporting freedom of expression. So India is changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never had problems going out as a drag queen because everybody, people look at you, people pass comments, but nobody like physically comes and assaults me at least.
My God.
So in
Yeah.
those, yeah, in
Yeah.
those terms, India is pretty good. Um, and then it's changing slowly. It will change, and we are seeing that happen right now. Even when we go to the Pride Parade in India, a lot of married people come with their children, just to support
Oh,
and just educate their children, just to make them a better human being.
Yeah.
So I see
yeah.
that happening. What was the other part of your question, Malika?
So I was talking to you about, do you think it's something that you could someday pursue as a career, or do you see that
Career,
change coming in?
career. I'm not sure about myself because although I love to perform on stage, I mean, I see myself doing that for a very long time, but it could be something that just is my happy place,
Mm.
because I like a crowd. I like to be on stage. I like to entertain people. If it turns out to be a career, I will be more than happy. Like, who wouldn't
Okay.
want a career
Yes.
of entertainment, right?
Yes.
So, and especially a career where you get to be yourself every single day and get paid for it,
True.
you know? So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I would love that, but that is not my primary focus because I do love my business. So
Mm.
Okay.
I have that as my first priority, and drag queen performances is like my happy place where I what I do when I have free time and when I'm too
Yeah.
stressed,
Yeah.
like that.
I like that. So
Yeah,
just to kind of wrap up the last three, four questions together, one
yeah,
would be, you did, mention it that the power of social media is a significant factor in the acceptance of drag today. And you mentioned pride, so I'm going to, rope that in as well. Much earlier in this conversation, you spoke about RuPaul as well. And he has that show, Drag Race, I believe. So, do you think
yeah.
shows like that, and again, social media, and having celebrities like RuPaul, who obviously has come to because of being true to his journey, do all these things come together to therefore create more acceptance because people are seeing more of it in their daily lives, in our exposure to media in any case?
Yes, definitely. And the biggest part, uh, hang on, social
No problem.
media plays the biggest part in this. I'm so thankful. A lot of people blame social media for the time waste or just lot of other things, but I just feel like you can. I mean, if you allow social media to impact you in a negative way, it will. You know.
Yeah.
But I
That.
really thank social media for making our lives better because now the world is in a phone. You can see everything that is happening around the world in a phone. So the more you see it, the more people see it, the more normalized it becomes.
Hmm.
Are you
Mm.
understanding? Huh?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so the more people see us being us, doing normal things, and the more we put ourselves out there with our friends who are straight people, they think like, oh yeah, I mean, this is just so normal. So somebody who's say sitting in like a small village in, I don't know, Punjab or wherever,
Mm.
okay, somebody in Bihar, somebody, but they
Mm.
do have a phone. Hmm? Now they
Yes.
have access to Instagram, TikTok, everything that they have in the palm of their hands. They're able to see us. So even though they don't have the exposure to witness that culture, LGBTQ culture, and the performance and the drag queens in real life, but they can see that on their phone. So in their head, it already becomes normal. So by the time they get to meet us, they already know us.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
because of social
Yes.
media, things have become so much easier. Things have become way better than it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that, because I think we can all agree social media does have an ugly face. I mean, we can't hide from it. But I love that you have decided to focus on how empowering it is for you and your journey. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
the good that it's done far outweighs the bad that it does have.
Yeah. And these days, the media also, a lot of television channels, a lot of companies, they have been supporting, coming up with new campaigns, and they've been
Yeah.
promoting it left, right, and center. So all the brands and the companies they also have a huge role to play in this.
Yes.
They all are being very supportive. Now they're hiring drag queens for their television commercials and,
Yeah.
photo shoots and video shoots and whatnot,
Yeah.
and even bands. Like I was featured in a band where it's about the life of a gay man and transitioning into being a drag queen, all of that.
Mm.
So then there are a lot of people who actually want to come forward and support in any way possible.
Yeah,
Hmm.
nice. So we do have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. But before we get
Yeah,
into those, I have one last question.
yeah,
Um, this shift between Prashant and Bahar, is it something that, comes to you like a weekend kind of a thing where, you kind of figuratively letting your hair down over the weekend and you want to dress up and go have a good time? Or
Mhm.
could it be something that feel like doing on a regular day during the week? You wake up on a Tuesday and you just feel Bahar more than Prashant. Or is Bahar something that comes on when you don't decide to dress up a certain way? So can you walk us through the shift between the two?
Um, Usually, Bahar comes out only during the weekend because that's when I go out, or that's when we perform, or but it actually depends on my mood also. Sometimes I just feel like, okay, I need to stop working and I need to just make a nice fancy video. I have a new outfit to showcase.
Hmm.
So let me just wear it and put on makeup. Sometimes when I'm in a very bad mood, becoming Bahar sort of, relaxes me, you know. So all of
Hmm.
that. Sometimes it could be just like I bought a new makeup palette or something, and I want to try it out, and then I start becoming Bahar. So it's not really I decide when to; it just happens.
Okay. I like
Yeah,
that.
It's a natural extension of you, so it's just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
it's just
Is
how we go
that
through moods. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like today when you asked me if I'm going to be in my drag, I told you no because I was working till 8 o'clock and I really
Hmm.
did not want to just, you know, because it takes like more than an hour for me to become
Yeah.
Bahar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm too tired. I had to cook because
Oh my
I like to cook my own meals. So that's why,
God.
so before we start this recording, I wanted to cook, have my dinner, and then
Hmm.
be all yours.
Yeah. Nice. Hmm. Okay, so let's we have five rapid fire questions for you. I'm going to read them out so that I'm better
Okay.
concentrated. So, um first one. Three things that you want people to know about drag queens.
They are the most fun people to hang out with. They are the meanest if they want to. And and what the third thing? They're very loving. We are loving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Three
yeah.
misconceptions about drag queens.
Oh my gosh, that we're not all transgenders because a lot of people do think that cross dressers and drag queens were transgenders. We're not. I mean, I
Hmm.
would love it if I was a transgender, but I'm not. Um, that is one. Second is we we are entertainers, but we don't hit on every guy that passes by. We also have taste. We also have our preferences. So
Hmm.
just because you're a guy and I'm a drag queen, mostly they think like that about gays as well. Like any gay guy
True.
would hit on any straight man. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that is
That
the
sounds
second
like
one.
every straight man's yeah, nightmare. So
Do I about you asked me three things, right?
three.
Misconception.
Yeah.
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 Second, third. What is the third misconception? Ah, God, what is the third one? I don't know.
There isn't any more then.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, we skip. The three best compliments you've heard while you were in drag.
Wow. Okay, there are many. You
Yeah.
are so beautiful. You look so statuesque.
Oh, I
Um,
like
y-
that.
uh,
Hmm.
yeah. You are more feminine than a woman.
Ooh, love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, the three things that you have gained emotionally or mentally after becoming a drag queen. The three best things that have changed in your personality, maybe.
I've become more confident. I've become very strong, and I know how to handle people well.
Ooh, people skills. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the last one. Three things that only a drag queen would know about men.
Well, well.
The closing chapter. Please be
Well,
candid.
I tell you, men.
I know.
they they're for drag queens. I don't know. What should I say?
The
um,
first thought that's in your head
they're,
right now.
men are so vulnerable. If you just play them well, they'll get played. You
Mm.
know, it's just I find them. I shouldn't say much. I think, but we know drag queens. We know. I mean, we look at a guy and we know it. You know, he could
Mm.
very well be walking in with his girlfriend, but we know it.
Mm.
Get my point?
I like that. Yeah, I totally get
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
But two
did you ask
more.
for three things or what?
Yes, always.
Okay. Shit. That is one. Then, oh my God, I'm so bad at this. Uh, we know how to flirt with men in a way that would please them. I guess.
Mm. Mm. You know
I
which
guess.
buttons to push. Yeah.
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 We know that. But I know I'm quite good at that because I keep my distance. At the same time, I don't keep the distance. And I say, at the same time,
Mm. You play
you
the
know,
game well. Yeah.
yeah. So, and the third thing, and all my drag queen friends are like that. Like, blessed to have
Mm.
my queens who are all good at all this. Um,
Right.
Third thing about men that only drag queens. My God, I should have been ready for this question. Uh, okay, I don't know the third thing.
That's all right.
Good enough. I think your first one
The
was good
first
enough.
one
I was
was
like,
tough.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that very happy note, Prashant, it
Uh,
was lovely talking to you. And I think we
Same
learned a little
here.
bit, a lot more about drag queens,
Yes.
their perception in India, how they are getting normalized thanks to social media, which I don't think either of us would have
Yes.
guessed. And of course, a
Yeah.
little bit about how straight men really are.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So one
Also,
day we
I've
would
had
love to.
people, I've had people at the clubs and all that fight over the fact that somebody called me a he while I was dressed in my drag. So
Oh,
it's quite nice to have
That
such
is
people
nice.
around you who don't even know
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
yeah,
They'd like, no, hey, dude, come on, it's a she. That's a she. You can't call Bahar a he.
yeah. Thank you so much, Prashant. This was lovely talking to you, and thank you for taking your
Same
time for
here.
us on a Monday. And
No
we love you
problem.
lots. And
Pleasure.
I'm gonna put a link to your page as well on our YouTube so
Yeah.
everybody can check you out if they haven't yet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Prashant.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Malika. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there! Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Raise the Brow. If you like what you heard, please share it with your friends. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube for all future episodes.